We're here to talk through the sort of somewhat newish process of enrolling folks in the automatic reporting process for the energy benchmarking requirements here in the district. To introduce myself, my name is Katie Bergfeld. I am the branch chief for the Building Performance and Enforcement branch here at the Department of Energy and Environment. And I basically oversee the team that is in charge of implementing the benchmarking requirements, providing compliance assistance, and enforcing the benchmarking requirements. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our main presenter, which is Joanna Saunders.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joanna Saunders. I manage the Energy Benchmarking Program here at the District Department of Energy and Environment. So today, during this hour-long webinar, we're going to be covering some quick benchmarking basics, as well as upcoming changes to the benchmarking law. We'll be going over what automatic reporting is and its benefits. We'll then move into a live step-by-step demonstration of how to enroll in automatic reporting and share your properties. We'll then be going over some key dates that are coming up. We'll finish up with how to analyze some of your benchmarking results and utilize existing tools in Portfolio Manager. And finally, we will have an open question and answer session at the end.
And so before we really get, again, started, I just want to do a few logistical items for everybody. Just a heads up that this is being recorded. So we will record this entire session, including the question and answer section, and we'll post it on our website. So for any of you that have colleagues or friends, or maybe family who want to view this later on, you can direct them to our website. We'll send out a link afterwards along with a PDF copy of the slides. So everyone can have those on hand for posterity's sake. And then just another logistical item, we have quite a few people on the line today. So in terms of questions, we're not going to get to a part where we unmute everybody because that'll be a little bit of chaos. If you have questions, please send them through the chat window, and we will collect those, and then we'll be answering them at the end of the presentation. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to provide a little bit of a contextual overview of what we do at DOEE and the programs that we support. So beginning with the Sustainable DC vision. So we all operate under the umbrella of Sustainable DC here at the Department of Energy and Environment. And the main goal of Sustainable DC is to make DC the healthiest, greenest, most livable city in the country for all district residents. And in support of that vision, we have quite a few programs that we have here in the district, and we have several goals that we're attempting to achieve as we work towards that vision. One of sort of the major goals of that program that are most germane to this conversation are our goals to cut citywide energy usage by 50% by 2032, and to cut citywide greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2032. And along with those goals, we have these plans that are basically telling us how we're going to get there, and also how we're going to adapt to the changes that will come from any unmitigated climate change. And along those lines, we have our Climate Ready DC plan, which is sort of our plan for how we're going to adapt to climate change and get our buildings climate ready, quote unquote. And then we also have what we call our Clean Energy DC plan, which was released in its final form in August of 2018. And that plan is basically a policy roadmap that tells us how we're going to get to those 50% reductions by 2032. We're currently working on a plan on trying to address recently Mayor Bowser, or not as recently now, was the end of 2017, committed us to being zero carbon by 2050. So we're working on a strategy of how we're going to sort of build out that 2032 plan out to 2050. The Clean Energy DC plan, as I stated, is a policy roadmap of how we're going to get to those goals. And major action items coming out of the Clean Energy DC plan are in regards to the new buildings, our existing buildings, and how we're going to address electricity supply in the district. Under new buildings, we're looking to adopt net zero energy building codes by 2026. We're looking to improve the performance of our existing buildings by implementing building energy performance standards. Many of you on the line might be aware that there was a law passed in the end of 2018 that actually addresses this goal this policy item from Clean Energy DC. So if you want more information on that, you can contact our team, but that's not really the discussion topic for today. And then lastly, to address sort of the renewable energy portion of it, we are going to look to require 100% renewable electricity supplied to the district by 2032. And the way that this sort of relates to the benchmarking program is that the benchmarking program is sort of a foundational program to all of this. We used a lot of the benchmarking data that we collect from the district to actually inform the modeling that came out of our Clean Energy DC plan and to inform what policy items we would need to take in order to get to where we need to get. So all the information that we collect through the benchmarking program is really important in order for the district to do the planning that it needs to do in order to get to these goals and to create a more sustainable DC.
Great, thank you, Katie. So we're first going to cover some basic energy benchmarking factoids that everyone should know if you are a reporter in the district. So the Clean and Affordable Energy Act of 2008 requires that all private buildings over 50,000 square feet report their annual energy and water use to DOEE, as well as all public buildings that are over 10,000 square feet. The annual reporting deadline is April 1st of every year, and all reporting is done through the U.S. EPA's Energy Star Portfolio Manager, which is an online tool used to track energy and water performance. Failure to meet the reporting requirements can result in a fine of up to $100 a day for every day that buildings are not in compliance. And compliance means submitting a complete and accurate report, not just simply submitting a report. Some changes that we are seeing to the benchmarking law in the coming years due to the Clean Energy DC Omnibus Act of 2018 that was previously mentioned. The benchmarking threshold is going to drop to 25,000 square feet in 2022, where buildings of that size will be required to report 2021 data. And then it will drop down again in 2024 to 10,000 square feet, and those buildings will be required to report 2023 data for the first time. And just to note that today's webinar is not about teaching you how to benchmark a building or how to use Portfolio Manager. Portfolio Manager has a ton of great existing resources that will walk you through those kind of basics of benchmarking. Today's webinar is about after you have input all of this data into Portfolio Manager, how you get that data to DOEE. So if you are curious or have questions about how to actually collect and enter data into Portfolio Manager, there are great resources, some of which are listed here. We recommend that for new benchmarkers, you look at the Portfolio Manager 101 training. There's also a full list of upcoming webinars and past recorded presentations, as well as shorter demonstration videos that you can find the link on this PowerPoint. And this PowerPoint will be posted with the webinar, so you can access all of these links. Portfolio Manager also maintains a comprehensive list of frequently asked questions that basically covers every aspect of energy benchmarking from beginning to end. So that is regularly maintained and updated and a fantastic resource to use. So what is automatic reporting and what are the benefits? Automatic annual reporting is done through Portfolio Manager Web Services and allows DOEE to automatically download property use details and energy and water data from your Portfolio Manager property. It is a one-time enrollment process and replaces the manual submission of benchmarking reports. So it is not a reoccurring annual process like the past reporting template. Once you are enrolled in automatic reporting, you are good to go for all future reporting years. This is not a process that you will have to repeat each year. This is just a one-time enrollment. This is intending to reduce reporting errors. We've seen data that has been put into Portfolio Manager but just never transferred to DOEE. So by enrolling in automatic reporting, we are making sure that that doesn't happen because updates or changes to your report are automatically transferred to DOEE without the need for a resubmission. So for example, if we find an error in your reporting, you can quickly make the updates and we will see the changes without the need to resubmit, which we hope will cut back on the back and forth and potential for miscommunication. There's also a really easy option to transfer ownership in Portfolio Manager. So if there is someone new who is taking over the benchmarking requirements or responsibilities or a building is sold, you can easily transfer ownership in Portfolio Manager, and those properties will still maintain connected to DOEE. So whoever is taking over that property will not need to re-enroll. They will already be set up and ready to go. And finally, one of the biggest benefits of automatic reporting is it allows DOEE to offer pre-reporting compliance assistance and data quality checks. So while we won't actually check for official compliance until after the April 1st deadline, we can start reviewing data early for data quality issues and provide any warnings of inaccurate or incomplete data and offer assistance to fix those errors with plenty of time before the reporting deadline. So a few disclaimers that we want to address is that you will still need to update energy and water use information in Portfolio Manager every year before the reporting deadline. Automatic reporting does not replace the actual benchmarking of your buildings every year. This is simply streamlining the reporting process. So it is still your responsibility to go in and add the previous calendar year's data, as well as check any property use details and make sure everything is up to date. That is still going to be your responsibility. So it is still on you to add all the 2019 energy and water data in advance of the April 1st deadline this year. It should also be noted that DOEE is able to see and download data from the properties that you share with us, but we do not have the ability to edit, add, or delete any records. You will be giving us read-only access, which means that while we will be able to see the details in the properties you share, we won't actually be able to alter anything. And finally, with that, because we can see all of the data put into your properties, we will also be able to see any cost information. However, at no point will DOEE download, collect, or disclose any financial information during the reporting process. We are only pulling the same metrics that we have pulled using the reporting template. Go back one. So prior to submitting your report, we just want to go over some quick things that we would like to see you do. First is entering all of the property use details and energy and water data into your Portfolio Manager account for the applicable calendar year. Again, if you're benchmarking for the first time, we highly recommend watching the Portfolio Manager 101 training, and you can also refer to the district data collection worksheet to see what it is we require. I will specifically note that to be properly reported, your property must have an address with the District of Columbia set as the state, and at the bare minimum have an energy use intensity number. Otherwise, we will not accept the report. You can identify your properties in Portfolio Manager using the District of Columbia Real Property Unique ID. If you don't already know your property ID, please consult the covered building list, which is published every year on DOEE's website. It is currently up there for 2019, so if you do not already have your real property unique IDs, you can refer to that covered building list to retrieve them. And finally, we ask that you run the data quality checker in Portfolio Manager to identify any missing or unusual values in your report. So for the data quality checker, once you are in Portfolio Manager, on the summary page at the bottom, you will see this box that says check for possible data errors. And once you click the button check for possible errors, you will select December for the month and select the year that you are attempting to report and click Run Checker. So for this reporting cycle, it would be December 31st, 2019 as the year ending date. And if you have any questions about how to run the data quality checker, EPA has guidance as well as that FAQ page I mentioned earlier. So please make sure that you fix any relevant alerts before reporting your data to DOEE. And I will say that any alerts regarding to waste can be disregarded. We do not require waste consumption, and that is not data that we collect, so you can just go ahead and ignore those alerts if those come up. So we are now going to switch over to the live demonstration portion, where we're actually going to walk through the enrollment process. So just to note that this is a sped up version of the enrollment process. We are going to be manually accepting the connection and share property requests. We usually accept them about once every hour. So I will say that if you are going through this process yourself, you should give yourself an hour or two to go through the whole process. But we are speeding it up here for the sake of the webinar. So I'm going to switch over to Portfolio Manager. So we can see here in our just normal portfolio landing page. So the first step in enrolling in automatic reporting is to connect your account with DOEE. And so to do this, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to go to Contacts. And you're going to search for new contacts. And to find DOEE's contact, you're going to search info.benchmark@dc.gov and search for new contacts. And there should be only one that comes up. It should say District of Columbia Annual Reporting. And from here, you're going to hit Connect, which will prompt you to enter some basic information, such as the contact name. So you will do first name, last name, as well as a relevant email address. You will then read through the terms of use and agree, and then hit Send Connection Request. So once you've done that, you will be brought back to this landing page. You will see this green box at the top that tells you that you have successfully sent a connection request to District of Columbia Annual Reporting. At this point, it'll take up to an hour for your request to be accepted. However, we are going to manually accept it here so that we can go through the second part of the process. You will receive an automated email when your share request has been accepted. So you'll be sent an email to the email that you entered during that connection request saying that you have successfully shared your account with DOEE. So once you receive that email, you know that you can continue to the next step. So we're now going to go through the second part of this enrollment process. From here, you can click the Sharing tab. And what we're going to do is over here, click Share or Edit Access to a Property, which will bring you to this page. The first step is to select the properties that you want to share with DOEE. This might just be one singular property, or if you're benchmarking multiple buildings, it could be many. So you'll see from the dropdown that you can select one, multiple, or simply all the properties in your portfolio. So for today's demonstration, we're just going to do one property. And then you're going to see a drop-down menu, and you're going to select which property you're going to share. So we're going to do this Test Office. Next, you're going to select the people that you want to share the properties with. If you are connected to multiple people in Portfolio Manager, you might see a longer list here. I am only connected with the District of Columbia Annual Reporting, so I'm just going to make sure that that is selected and highlighted. And finally, you're going to choose permissions, and you're going to select the second option, which is Personalized Sharing and Exchange Data. So you're going to select that and hit Continue. That's going to bring you to this page, which is going to ask for a little bit more detail about the types of permissions you're allowing us to see. So from here, you're going to select Exchange Data, which will automatically bring up this pop-up window, where again, you will be prompted to enter the contact name, so you can see first and last name, as well as the primary contact email. Again, this is where we are going to be sending correspondence, so please make sure that you are entering an email that is regularly checked. And finally, and almost most importantly, is the DC Real Property ID. This is your real property unique ID. This must be accurate, otherwise your share request will not be accepted. We have an example number here, and we're going to manually accept it for demonstration purposes. However, if you do not enter the correct ID, you will get a rejection email. So please make sure that you are double checking that you're entering the correct ID. If your property spans multiple tax lots and has multiple IDs, please enter the primary one in this field and add any additional IDs in the second field here, separated by a semicolon. So once you enter that information, you're going to scroll down and you're going to select Read-Only Access for the property information, for all relevant energy meters, as well as all relevant water meters and goals. And finally, the last one for this recognition portion, you're going to hit None. And once you scroll down, the final option here is about Share Forward. So we ask that you do not give us Share Forward access. That means that we cannot then share your property with other people. So you're going to select No. And once you have selected all of these, you're going to hit Apply Selections and Authorize Exchange, which will bring you back to this page. Now, you need to make sure that you then, to finalize this share process, hit Share Properties. And again, you'll see a familiar page. You have successfully shared or edited access to your properties. Again, once DOEE has processed this connection request, you will receive an automated email. Again, it can take up to an hour depending on when you submit the property shares. If you want to double check that your property has been properly shared, you can go back into your portfolio and you can select the property that you have shared with us. And if you scroll down, you will see sharing this property, and you can see who has access. So again, like I said, we manually accepted this share request for the purpose of this demonstration. So you can see that District of Columbia annual reporting has exchange data permissions. And that's exactly what you want to see, and that means that you have properly enrolled in automatic reporting. Again, you will receive automated emails confirming. So if you do not receive an email from the info.benchmark@dc.gov email, you should consider going back through the steps or reaching out to us so we can help figure out what's going on, because those emails are your indication that you have gone through these steps properly. And this is a way that you can double check that you have properly shared each property. Okay, so now we're going to jump back to the presentation. All right, so once you have enrolled in automatic reporting, we're just going to go over some important dates that everyone should know. So starting on March 1st or March 2nd, DOEE will start reviewing data for quality issues and sending emails alerting reporters of errors, as well as providing instructions on how to fix them. Again, we will not check for official compliance until after the April 1st reporting deadline. This pre-reporting compliance is just for our ability to help you. It's this pre-reporting compliance assistance purposes only. It is not an official acceptance or rejection of your benchmarking report. April 1st is the benchmarking reporting deadline. And then after April 1st, DOE will start sending compliance and data quality emails. So if your report is complete and accurate, you will receive an email confirmation that your report has been accepted. If your report has incomplete or inaccurate data, you will receive an email with these errors flags as well as steps to remedy them. Once DOEE has received all benchmarking reports, they are publicly disclosed in two different places, one on our benchmarking disclosure map, which you can see on the screen here, and also on Open Data DC. Both Open Data DC and the public disclosure map can be filtered by a number of criteria, including the reporting year, the property type, the Energy Star score, and more. So we highly recommend that if you are interested in seeing your own data or other buildings in the district, you utilize one of these tools. Again, the links are right there, and they are updated every year. And once you have reported your data to DOEE, you may be wondering what all of that data means and what it says about your building's energy performance. So we're going to walk through just a few simple metrics that you can use to evaluate your energy performance and point you to some additional resources available through Portfolio Manager if you're interested in a deeper analysis. So first is the Energy Star score. There are 27 property types that are eligible to receive an Energy Star score, which is a screening tool that can help you assess your building's performance. On the screen, you can see a chart that tells you what an Energy Score does and does not tell you. So an Energy Star score does evaluate actual build energy data. It normalizes for business activities. It compares buildings to the national population, and it indicates the level of energy performance. However, it does not sum the energy use of each piece of equipment. It does not credit specific technologies in your building. It doesn't compare buildings with others in Portfolio Manager, and it doesn't explain why a building performs well or poorly. And an Energy Star score of 50 is the national median. So if your score is above a 50, let's say it is right at 51, it means that your building is performing better than 51% of its peers across the U.S. The Energy Star score there's a link in this PowerPoint to literature that explains specifically what goes into an Energy Star score for your property type. So if you're interested in finding out exactly what pieces of information are pulled for the building that you're reporting, you can use that tool to determine. Some additional tools that you can use are the Evaluating Trends tool in Portfolio Manager, which can help you track your building's performance over the years. So on the Summary tab of the building you're interested in evaluating, you can generate a quick overview graph using a multitude of metrics. You can see the list of different metrics here on the right side of the screen. For many of these, we would like to see a downward trend. For example, on the graph here, we can see that site EUI is steadily going down over the years, and that's ideally what we would like to see. You can also create reports and generate graphs in Portfolio Manager on the Reporting tab. You can see here, go to the Reporting tab. Portfolio Manager has existing templates of that pull a set number of metrics. However, you can create your own reports and graphs based on specialized metrics that you would like to pull. So the link here on the PowerPoint is to a demonstration video that shows how to create your own reports and graphs if that's a tool that you are interested in. And finally, DOEE has an active benchmarking help center that operates Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. If you find that any questions are not able to be answered using the existing Portfolio Manager resources, including the demonstration videos or the FAQs, you can feel free to contact the help center at the email info.benchmark@dc.gov or at our help center line at 202-671-3300. You may also find answers to a lot of your questions on our website. We are regularly updating it with information, and including an FAQs page as well. That is where we post our covered building list. That is where we have posted our district collection worksheet. So there's a lot of great tools and resources on our website as well.